Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Next up here, we got a guy, another guy that I think is kind of underrated to a certain degree here because of what the offense is he was in here. So let's go off here with a little number 5, Troy Franklin. Well, you guys loved the cartoon version of Troy Franklin too, didn't you?
Yeah.
I almost feel bad people that are listening to this later on audio because they hear that music nonstop and they have no clue what's playing in the background. Sorry, guys, if you're on audio land. You just might got to come to video. It's more fun. But don't do that when you're driving to work. That's unsafe.
In America.
Unsafe. In Canada as well. You got icy roads.
Anywhere.
Worse. Yeah. Troy Franklin, 6'2", 176 pounds, soaking wet. The guy is like a pool noodle at that point. 21 years old. Last year, 23 games, 23 games. Last year, 23 season, 13 games, 81 receptions, 1,383 yards, and 14 touchdowns. Year prior, 13 games, 61 receptions, 891 yards, and 9 touchdowns. Now, if you guys remember, we talked about Bo Nix. We did our talk there with him. Bo Nix is the king of checkdowns, screens, short yardage. So when you got a guy like this who's a good deep vertical threat and succeeded in Oregon as one with Bo Nix as their quarterback, I really think this guy got held back a little by Bo Nix, to be very frank with you. And I see Andrew going, yeah.
He still had almost 1,400 yards.
Yeah, I think this guy is another guy who's underrated in this whole topic of receivers. You don't hear him talked about as a potential, first round pick. I think he's got that kind of talent. Good vertical threat, good release, good route runner, the stuff that you want to see. Cons wise, you would like to probably see him add a little bit of weight at 176 there. But again, you don't want to do it to the point where you ruin his speed. He's also not necessarily the best at tracking the ball at times there. Every so often he just goes up for it and his hands are in the wrong spot from where the ball's going to be.
I do think you got the opportunity hands.
But I do think that's something that you could potentially teach. Maybe it's, half a second more you need to go back further because you're just not good at that, or whatever the case may be. Like there's things you can teach on that. It's not that his hands aren't very good necessarily, though I will say he does have a small catch radius for his size at that point as well. Again, 176 pounds, but he's 6'2". So you expect a bigger radius than what he does have. But if you get a guy who's good at throwing the deep ball and you pair him up with Troy Franklin, this could be a fun part of an offense there. So I have him as a late first, second round pick at that point. Most places I see him as a second round pick at that point. But I do think if somebody else sees that potential, you could see somebody right towards the very, tail end of that first round go, you know what, this is the guy we should add. Maybe Kansas City. We talked about that.
I still think
Kansas City's going to look at a receiver at the end of that first round because it's so obviously their biggest need in that team. It's not even funny.
Yeah, it's going to depend on obviously where they sit, but also where the loose back round. I can see, Kansas City go late round, first round.
Yeah,
he
said it. It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting fit at that point for him there.
He was the early mock season talk of which superstar team would, people would say, lose out in the playoffs in order to get a guy like this, but it'd be, like the Ravens, the Bills, the Chiefs, the Jets right now with Aaron Rodgers, any of these guys that get this guy. But those are the teams that want him now. Like he's NFL ready to go, knows how to do most of these schemes and most of these systems and stuff like that. I wish that Chip Kelly would have gotten a job this year, and we have to wait until next year when he comes back into the NFL. Because if you want to see someone like Troy be utilized properly, you need an offensive coordinator or a head coach mind that is like Chip Kelly or is Chip Kelly. And if you want to get the best out of him, because, man, he is fast and he is fun.
Oh, yeah. And he's one of those guys that if he drops this second round, it would not shock me at all to see someone trade up and have that talk between day 1 and day 2 to trade up to get him. It's because it's gonna happen if that scenario. He's that good.
Randomly too, just because I forgot that they actually traded Deontay Johnson to Carolina. Is him on Pittsburgh? His personality too just screams Pittsburgh. Like him and Pickens together in the same locker room, or like bickering at cornerbacks. Oh man, that would be fun.
The question is, can Russell Wilson throw that?
Yeah.
Russell or Fields? Yeah.
Listen, I honestly would say that Fields might be the better quarterback at this point too. I still will say that. That's talking about getting 2 steals. 2 steals.
Being able to sit with Mike Tomlin might be the best thing for his.
I 100% was about to say the same thing.
Yeah,
I think Fields not playing this year coming up, sitting behind a Super Bowl winning quarterback to talk about his glory days and how he used to do everything.
Back in my day,
might make Fields.
We used to throw the ball at the first yard line.
Yeah,
back in my day, instead of running the ball, first we threw it 10 yards down the field.
Listen, God told me to throw the ball to Malcolm Butler and make his life just with riches.
Someone did I saw a cartoon, like people do like the NFL cartoons and stuff on TikTok and all. And someone did one, and it was like. It was Russell Wilson talking to Justin Fields, like, welcome to the team. First thing you do if you want to become a superstar, you got to find yourself a pop star or marry her quick. I'm like, what the
hell? One that was popular in the early 2000s.
Yeah. I say, is she even still recording? I haven't even heard anything new of her in forever, I think.
Probably does Christmas albums right now to try and get ahead.
Oh, my God. She's on a Hallmark movie somewhere. Probably. Brandy was in one last year. I saw on Netflix. I'm like, they're like Brandy. They actually use her last name even. I'm like, who's Brandy? What's her name? And then I saw the picture. I'm like, oh, it's Brandy. I'm like,
the Brandy, not Brandy. Oh.
Yeah, but you hear her last name and you forget who she even is because you just know her as Brandy. She was never a Brandy, whatever her last name is. She was just Brandy.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.